Can you go? Chair calls Shane Attaway as a resource witness.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Chairman, members. Shane Attaway, Assistant Attorney General, here as a resource witness. Field any questions?
That's what I said.
Did you hear my question, Mr. Simpson? Are you satisfied that what we're doing here is not going to somehow be federally preempted?
I think that's a very good question, the issue that I looked into a little bit. I think when you're talking about TSA agents or federal officers, I looked up, there's Title 28, Section 1442, federal officers or agencies sued or prosecuted. I think what could happen is a local prosecutor comes in, prosecutes a federal agent, TSA, since we've been talking about TSA, in state court. First thing a defense attorney is going to do, per the statute, is going to move that case to federal court, because we're dealing with a federal officer. And then at that point, I don't pretend to be an expert in federal law, I work in the state courts. But at that point, then there would have to be a determination by the federal judge, was this person, the TSA agent, working in the scope of their duty? Because that's really one of the, what this bill says, talks about the person while acting under the color of the person's office or employment. So maybe if the judge determines that they're working in the scope of their employment, then I would assume at that point the federal judge tosses the case. There's not a federal case. There's not a prosecution because the defense attorney has rightfully moved it to the federal court and then presented their case to the federal judge. Then the federal judge says, well, we find that TSA agent Bill Smith was working within the scope of his employment. No case. And again, this is just, there's no case law or anything. This is me looking at this Title 28, Section 1442. Now, obviously, if they find that he's not working within the scope of his employment, but it's a pretty low standard, if he can justify anything.
It's pretty hard to imagine that they would find that.
Yes, that'd be a very low standard that they find that he's not in the scope. I guess
the federal judge throwing somebody under the bus.
Well, I guess if the TSA agent goes and gropes a woman and there's no probable cause or something where it's just so, there's witnesses that say I saw this, it was so ridiculous.
But I think there are cases like that.
So,
Lots.
It's got some
and that would be a code where it'd be hard to argue that it's within the scope of the TSA agent's duty at that point. But then the judge would be hard pressed to say, well, you're working within your scope. Then it would be able to be prosecuted at that point.
What if you had an agent that was following written policy that said you will in fact feel the genitals of a male or female passenger?
I think he or she, whatever the TSA agent, would be working under the color of his employment or scope
Could
of
not
his
then the
employment.
supervisor who drafted that policy be prosecuted?
I mean, I think we'd be under the same thing. If there's written policy, then I think they would be protected, be immune. Just as in the state of Texas, prosecutors have immunity to prosecute cases and show that they're working within the scope of their employment. I mean, you bring up a very good issue because that does get into supremacy issues.
President Burkett?
So just to follow his line of questioning, if that's the case, if somebody has written policy saying you can touch this, how do we pursue that? How do we rectify that for the people who live in the state of Texas? Do we have to go, does it have to go federal? There's got to be a way to rectify that somehow. If it's a calling our congressman saying, here, we drafted this here,
28, section 1442, it says, a civil action or criminal prosecution commenced in a state court against any of the following may be removed by them to a district court of the United States for the district and division embracing the place wherein it is pending. And then they give 1, 2, 3, 4 different scenarios, and one of them is the United States or any agency thereof, or any officer or person acting under the officer of the United States. So obviously like a TSA agent would be.
So the operational word is may be removed, it doesn't say must be removed.
Yeah, no, it still comes down to a judge's decision. But then there's not case law, but there was a law review article that was talking about the immunity and working in the scope of employment and how it was a pretty low standard, like y'all were just commenting that a judge might. It wouldn't probably be a lot for an employee to show, well, I searched him because this guy came up and he was nervous and he went through and the metal detector went off or whatever. It wouldn't probably take a lot. Obviously it comes down to the judges.
So one more question, which again may not be Attorney General's office view, but would it be more beneficial for Representative Simpson to make this a resolution and send it up to Congress? I know
I don't
I'm
know.
guessing at a answer.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't have the answer for that. I just, as being a resource witness, I could see, what was raised as the issue of federal law versus state law. Could be a problem.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Attaway.
He's never been particularly shy about taking the fight with the federal government.
Especially not this session. It's kind of a norm. Before I start calling other witnesses, I just want to point out that Chairman Gallego and I are joint authors of this bill. We're obviously supportive, I think. Who else is signed on as a co-author? Co-author.
We're just co-authors, we didn't.
No, the point being is that you have a very friendly committee at this particular time, so keep that in mind as you come up to testify.
Thank you.
We want to hear everything you have to say, please, but there are quite a few witnesses here. I thank you all for waiting this late and to testify. We do want to hear what you have to say and appreciate you being here. So we'll start and just kind of take into consideration that we have a lot of people that want to say something.